Sometimes people you care deeply about will choose to drop out of your life, and all you can really do is have the grace to let them. Edit. To everyone struggling with being left behind, and to everyone struggling with having to be the one to leave, I hope the pain eases for you soon. This is elegant. I'm dealing with this right now. Part of me wants to revive our past relationship and constantly attempt to interact with them. But dignity and maturity dictate that it's time to quit. At least I still have my memories. My grandpa just wanted to get to know me and the man I was becoming during his last year of life. Which I was too young and too selfish to realize. Yeah, this hits home. I spent 90% of my childhood with my grandparents. I was at their house almost every day. When I got into my teens and obviously found friends, discovered women, all that stuff, and then I just stopped seeing them. They're both gone now, and they died with the memories of me as a child. Although they seen me sometimes while I was older, they didn't know me because I didn't give them the chance. This is coming from a firefighter. If you have to perform CPR on them, it's most likely over for the patient. I'm not sure if I've made peace with it completely, but I've accepted it at least. I've taken CPR training twice in the past 10 years. The instructors were so completely different. The second one flat out told us, you're giving them about a 15% chance of living, and even if they live, they will probably have some kind of severe trauma that will dramatically decrease their quality of life. Wow. My dad passed away 6 weeks ago, and I will never see, hear, chat or get to hug him ever again, and that forever is a long time. I'm so sorry. If you have his voice on a voicemail, save that on your own device, because the phone service will delete it after a few years. A friendship you thought would last forever can end in an instant. My best mate of 20 years said that he didn't want to be my best man and just said he didn't want to be my friend anymore. Hurt like hell. Edit. I did ask several times over message for a reason, but he never stated what it was. All he said was, maybe I'll tell you one day. Being alive is expensive. I read on here yesterday that the cost of living is outweighing the benefits. Never thought of it that way before, and now it's the only way I can think about it. No one is coming to help. Everyone is making jokes. I get exactly where you're coming from. My wife and I get basically zero support from either of our families, and when we get into tough shit, there is no rescue or recourse, we just have to ride through it and hope we come out okay. I also know that when it comes right down to it, if something tough happened with me, I'd be almost completely on my own to handle it. It's a very tough realization. That at the end of the day, the only one I can rely on is myself. I wish I could rely on myself. I'm aging non-stop. Eventually it does stop. My childhood is gone, and I have no good memory from that phase of my life. Edit. This blew up, which is kinda unfortunate and sad. Kinda amazed by the reception. For me, it's my teenage years. I missed on so much, and it made me really socially handicapped. Just because you think someone is the one, doesn't mean they think you are. You can be the best apple on the tree, but they may not like apples. I'm an alcoholic. Me too. 26 months sober. Didn't think it was possible to get here when I was beholden to a 1.75 of Fleshman's every moment I had free time. Couldn't have done it without lurking the stop drinking subreddit. I am kinda dumb tbh. I respect this admission so much. You can do everything perfectly and still fail completely. That in. People would rather leave you than own up to what they did, and they'll never even give you a second thought. Humans, turns out, are good at lying to themselves. Edit. Oh wow. So many upvotes. Thank you all. Should I shamelessly plug my Twitch? Ha ha ha, nah, I'm just playing. Thanks. There's an episode of Star Trek, The Next Generation, where Picard tells Data, it is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness, that is life. I'm not sure people leave without a second thought. You may never know how much someone who's left thinks about you. They may deeply regret what they've done and just not know how to fix it, or believe that it cannot be fixed. No matter how hard you love someone, they can fall out of love with you, and there's nothing you can do to fix it. Took me a lot of self-destruction and pain to realize it. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. I hear this. I always fall harder for my partner than they do for me. I know people are fully allowed to change their feelings over time, but it still feels like a brutal betrayal every time. This person you care about, and have invested so much time and effort into being with, can, suddenly, have a change of heart and just leave. To compound matters, They deal with their trauma or issues around leaving before they do it, so usually when they go they seem fine and you are the person left holding the check, emotionally. Life isn't fair. I hate when people say karma will get that bad person. 9 times out of 10 the asshole gets away with it. Life is unfair. My depression is very likely chronic. I'll be living with it for the rest of my life. There are plenty of us like that. Diagnosed at 19, now I'm in my late 40s. I'll never be able to go a day without an antidepressant. I'll have bouts of depression even with the medication. But I can still function in society, most of the time. So I try to live well on the good days, and grit my teeth and bear it on the bad days, of which today is one. I'm aware enough to know that there is something wrong with me. But I'm not aware enough to know what it is, let alone fix it. Go to the doctor if you can. I've always known I had some sort of mental ailment and I'm finally going to see what a professional thinks. I will never get back the time I have lost to depression. Edit. I am amazed by the huge response, and appreciate your comments and the awards. Thankfully, life is mostly better for me. We can and do recover. I wish those of you in the middle of it you peace and love. Reach out for help, you are worth it. This hit me hard too. I'm working on getting better and life is pretty good right now, but damn if I don't get mad thinking about how much time depression took away from my life. Fuck depression. I realized in therapy yesterday I'm only keeping myself alive out of a sense of obligation to others. That wasn't a fun realization. Me too. But as of late, I'm starting to care less and less about that obligation. I find it more comforting than depressing, but some people will see it as the opposite. I'm entirely fine with being in no relationship. It's been almost a decade since the last one and I just don't see it as the priority that others do. I'm entirely fine with just having friends and colleagues. Hell, I'm happy. I just want to toss it out there because some people might find my reasoning to be helpful in deciding their life priorities. Do you think that you're okay with the situation because you've experienced it? I've never been in a relationship and I am fine on my own, but there is this thought always in the back of my head that I don't know what I'm missing out on and it's better than what I have. I'm likely destined for an average life. Being a kid is always thinking you are the main character destined for great things. Growing up is realizing you are a background extra in a single filler episode. If you are lucky. I will always have the big sad following me. I can push it down for a bit, but it will come back eventually. I just need to remember to breathe and remember I can get past it. I've had to accept this and surprisingly it's helped. It's just always gonna be a part of me and I can't change it. I've learned that I have to let myself feel it and let it hurt because if I distract myself or run away it only makes it last longer. That my whole life has been a waste. That if I disappeared tomorrow nobody would even know or care. I used to consciously feel the existential dread that brings, but now I just kind of ignore it and keep going on with my mechanical existence. That's essentially true for everybody, though, isn't it? Even if you do something and are remembered, it's not the person that gets remembered, but the idea of them, and all but the most influential are lucky to have a footnote of a footnote in a forgotten insignificant book. So yeah, just gotta live for you. One day all my friends will go our separate ways, we will eventually stop talking. One day was the last day you ever talked to a friend and you had no idea. No matter how much you care or fight it, friends will stop talking to you. I put in an incredible amount of work to organize meetups for a former best friend who had clearly got tired of me, and it finally took me getting ghosted by them to realize how much time I'd wasted on someone who didn't want it anymore. It was a good lesson to learn, but damn do I miss them sometimes. She didn't care in the first place, I was just desperate for companionship. You're completely alone inside your own head. No one will ever be able to truly feel what you feel. So learn to be your own best friend and trust yourself. I'm most likely going to die alone. Become a bus driver, take a few people with you. You can fall out of love. Yeah, I agree with this. As one of my favorite singers said, they never told us love could die before we do. That's quite cliché but still a strong sentence in my opinion. I'll never be comfortable financially. I have failed every attempt. I really did try. I promise you, I did. But nothing's worked for me. I just have to accept it. For me, being comfortably financially means I can go to the grocery store and buy basic food items without worrying that this carton of eggs will put me over budget. I will always fight my demons. There is no healing from it. Here, have a sword to help you, warrior. Less than equals 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 equals, oh.